Ahoj, zdravím všechny deskohráče a deskohráčky a vítám vás u dalšího dílu mého podcastu Polední pauza, kde se mi o deskovkách, které se dají odehrát o polední pauzu v práci. Dneska to bude takový speciální díl, protože tady mám speciálního hosta a přejdu do angličtiny. Doufám, že nějak plynule a snad si to užijete. My host here is world famous designer from GMT, Mitchella Landa.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you.
To my podcast. It will be really quick, so I think.
Take as much time as you want.
We are in a Czech Consim Conu in Prague. Do you have any plans for Czech Consim Conu for today, or do you have any free time now?
Free time. I'm supposed to play Yoro's game, and I already forgot. 1 hour of freedom, I think it is. Mm-hmm. So I think he wants some playtesting on that.
So we just finished Next War Vietnam.
Turn one.
Turn one after, I think, 6 hours. Mm-hmm. 6.5. We testing your quick flashpoints scenarios for your games. Yes. Next War. You told me that this game is for 4 turns.
Yes.
This flashpoint round. So about 24 hours.
At the pace we're playing, yes. Yeah, I mean, the idea behind them is to have them be faster, right? So you don't have to play the whole. So Next War series, the game rules are divided into standard and advanced. And the standard game is a basic, I go, you go, there's zones of control. It's very simple. And then the advanced game has a whole bunch of stuff. But if you play the 16-turn campaign game, you're talking about something that could last for hours and hours and hours, days if you were playing it straight, right? So the idea behind the flashpoints is play 4-turn game, hopefully within less than 6 hours, but
whole three turns for less than 6 hours.
Experienced players would probably get through it in probably 6 to 8. The idea is maybe two nightly sessions and be done.
Yes.
Right. So you're not spending 3 weeks playing the same, 3 or 4 weeks playing the same.
It sounds like perfect idea for the system, but you saw it today.
Yeah. Might have to rethink some of that, but yeah.
So my first question is called The Birth of the System. Do you remember the moment you decided to create your own system focused on modern conflicts? What was the initial spark?
So actually, it's not technically my system. It came out of a game from GMT from a long time ago called Crisis Korea 1995. Mm-hmm. And so the rules are similar to what you see in the Next War system now, but obviously they've morphed over time. Because Next War Korea came out in 2012 on consimworld.com, the discussion site. Mm-hmm. I had been playing Crisis Korea 95 and saw that Gene Billingsley, who had designed it, was working on a new version of the game, and he was calling it Next War Korea. And basically, he got tired of me sending my suggestions to him on how it could be better, and he said, "Why don't you just do it?" So that's how I got involved and ended up taking over the reins and turning it into Next War Korea. And then obviously we've published 5 games since then.
And you elevated to the next step and more complex system.
Right. So changed a lot of the subsystems a little bit, tweaked some things here. Some of the basic rules, moving is moving, right? Moving units is moving units. So some of those things are still similar. Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's been a lot of changes since that very original idea of Crisis Korea 1995.
And the original Crisis in Korea, it was also so many level system like yours.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of the same concepts are there.
Because I didn't play it.
Yes, a lot of the same concepts are there. They've just been changed. Mm-hmm. So for instance, the Special Operations Forces are markers now. They're counters that you put down and there's rules around them. In the original game, it was just a set of points that you got. You just assign points to a mission and roll against the table. So it's expanded a lot from there. Okay, so to speak. So the subsystems are there. They've just been morphed and changed and made better, maybe in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Next question is the core idea behind Next War. What was your main goal with Next War? Was it primarily about simulating a real conflict, or did you aim to deliver a powerful gameplay experience?
I think more the latter. That's such a long and involved answer to that question, the simulation, right? We're playing with cardboard and maps, and you can't really, in my opinion, simulate the real world modern conflict using that methodology. Can you get close? Probably. Can you learn some lessons from it? Maybe. Mm-hmm. Even the professional practitioners will tell you that the game is the games they play are more to get you thinking about the problem than really solving the problem.
Yeah.
So I think I would categorize it more. I want a powerful game experience that lets you experience the kinds of levers you can pull and buttons you can push in a modern war. So you can assign your special forces to do things. You can strike targets with airplanes. You can prepare the battlefield for your ground attack in the way, not the way that the professionals do it, but in a similar way.
Realism versus playability. The series is known for being detailed, yet still approachable. How do you find the right balance between a realistic simulation and keeping the game fun and playable?
That's a great question. So anytime I think of a new mechanic, I try very hard to make that mechanic work like all the others. So if it's, die driven, then there should be a table, there should be modifiers for that table, and it should be, like we were talking about, almost every time you want to roll low for something good to happen, except in current you roll high, right? That's the one time I forgot my own rule and made it different. But that way, if you encounter a new mechanic, you're like, oh, I know how this generally works because I just did the same thing here, right? I rolled the die, I looked at the modifiers, minus is good, plus is bad. Okay, roll low, I did well. So that's where you can take some of that detail and make it more approachable. And also, what was I going to say? The approachability, that's why there's a standard and an advanced rule set, right? The standard rule set, you can learn the game, you can learn the basic mechanics, and then layer on all the advanced pieces and get a better experience out of it.
It's for me, I think I'm an experienced war game player, and for me, the standard rules are really basic, easy. After one reading, you can play, you can experience the game, but if you access the advanced game, it's plus many layers for the game, and I think this is the highlight of the series, not the basic, but you need to play the basic rules after that. You saw us today we swimming during the rules and.
And that's intentional, right? That the standard rules are meant as a gateway to the advanced game. That's also why they're very procedural. Like if you have trouble or you're struggling, you go to that part of the sequence. Always follow the sequence of play. Right? Don't try to deviate. And then if you're struggling, just go to the rule section. It's referenced. Read that rule section. You don't have to read them all. Just read that rule section and figure out what you're supposed to do, and just follow the procedure.
It's brilliant, like the rules and tables and etc. are structure. Sorry. So, choosing the conflicts. Another question. Each game in the series explores a different region: Korea, Poland, Taiwan. How do you choose which conflict to focus on? And do current geopolitical events influence your decisions?
So to answer your last question first, yes. And basically what I looked for, and pardon me for using the same term because the new product is called flashpoints, but I looked for the flashpoints, right? Korea is an obvious flashpoint. Taiwan is an obvious flashpoint. Poland, I guess, is an obvious flashpoint. I mean, more so for Europeans than maybe Americans. But that's really how I approached it. Vietnam was special in the sense that I wanted to complete the trilogy. So Korea, Taiwan, Vietnam, and China and Vietnam already fought a war, and they are already going at head to head over the Spratly Islands area. So, I wanted to include that for if you wanted to play a combined game where the PRC is trying to take on all three of them, you can.
Yes.
Right? But really, that's what I looked for. For the longest time, I did not want to do an Iran game, and then just basically finally found the trigger, if you will, of, okay, this is why we might put ground troops into Iran. It's still, and I will say it, contrived, as recently witnessed in the last few months where Israel conducted a hugely successful air war and didn't put any troops on the ground. But so there's that tiny conceit of, well, here's why we might want to. Okay, go have fun, right? And again, the end goal, have fun.
Okay, design challenges. Which part of the design process was the most challenging for you? And is there anything you would change if you were designing Next War today from scratch?
Probably.
Difficult question.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing, I think, I want to say Mark Herman always said it. He said a game is never done, it's just published.
Yes.
Right? So that's why, fortunately for me, I have the ability to use the supplements as an outlet for, oh man, I really wish I would have included that rule in the main rules, right? So I use the supplements for some of those things. They haven't been thoroughly tested with the full campaign games, but they're fun to play with. My one recommendation on the supplements is make sure you understand how the game works before you play with any of the supplements, right? Because sometimes they fundamentally change the rules. But
makes sense.
Yeah. So the design challenges really it's more around making the situation playable. So like, for instance, Iran, it was hard to figure out what portion of the map, because that area is huge, to include. And then how do you make that interesting from a player standpoint of, using all of the tools that Next War brings, carriers and air and ground troops and SOF, in order to make it a fun game experience. And that's why I like to pride myself in the fact that all of the games use basically the same rules, but they all play very differently. Attacking as the PRC in Vietnam is a very different experience from being the allies on the attack in Iran, right? So even though you might understand the game is going to be switching from one theater to the next is going to be totally different.
Yes, but it's many systems working like that. If you see system Zogbond system from Mark Simonage, is different map but the same system, and the game is played many different ways.
Correct. Yeah. So like, for instance, like Stalingrad 42 plays way different than Ardennes 44,
and then Salerno 43.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so player surprises. Have players ever surprised you with how they interpret the game or the strategies they use?
All the time. And one of the things, I can't remember who asked me, somebody had said, well, do you really want us to help you play test? We're not that familiar. I'm like, absolutely. Because new players will do things that I would never think to do because I played so long. Like, oh, I wouldn't do that. Not that it's going to be a bad thing or whatever. I just wouldn't think of doing it that way because in my back of my brain, I'm like, well, if this is the path to victory, I'm just going to do this because I know this is going to work. As opposed to new players will try I'll say off the wall things, right? Just not weird or bad, just different, right? They take a different path to victory and it might still work. And for me, not to, put myself up too high, but there are so many different ways to approach the game that can work. You might very well say, I'm just going to pound the guy's air bases to pulp, and like Euro is doing, and I'd never even thought of doing that. So it might actually.
But Euro rolled yes. ones and twos, right. And we 8s and 9s.
Right. But I mean, in that particular scenario, I would never have thought of doing that. I would not have used my air power that way. But maybe it'll turn out for him. I don't know.
Like Petr said, why am I using helicopters to bombard this? And you told us, me every time.
Yeah.
Because look at the column.
I look at the chart. It's a great strike column, yes, right? Yes. So yeah, I use that. But again, the thing with the Next War system, it always depends on the situation on the ground, right? If you know you're going to get attacked, well, you might need to hold those helicopters back so that you can use them for ground support or whatever, right? So a lot of it is knowing when to use an asset at the right time.
Yeah.
And for the right purpose.
Yeah. Exactly. Future plans. Can you share anything about what's next? Are you working on another Next War title or perhaps something entirely new? I know about flashpoints, but
yes,
something.
Yeah. So we're trying to get supplement 4 out the door. Flashpoints, obviously, we're starting to work on. Beyond that, I've got a couple of ideas. One is I want to maybe bring the scale down. So right now it's mostly brigades and divisions with a couple of battalions here and there. Excuse me. So I've been thinking about, do I shrink the scale down and make it into a battalion level game, right? So your major maneuver unit is a battalion, maybe sprinkle some companies in there. So just bring it down a little bit. Then you can get a smaller area. So maybe it's the battle for Hanoi, since we're playing Next War Vietnam. Maybe it's just that battle. So it's just the whole map, but the map is just Hanoi, and now you're in the middle of a city fight with battalions.
Sounds cool.
something right, something along those lines. So it's the same system, it's just down a level. And then the other thing I've been thinking about is trying to, and I don't know how familiar you are with some of the titles that actually have naval activity, but it's very abstract. You have a counter that represents a bunch of ships and it does things, but it's a very abstract hand wave kind of thing.
Yes.
So I would like to create a naval game that's much more detailed, like we were talking about at lunch with the Fifth Fleet games. It's individual ships with their own statistics, and you can sail around and fire missiles and detect missiles and shoot them down, and all the fun things that modern naval warfare does. But then hopefully find a way to bolt that on to the next war system, so you can play the ground, and if your fleet or your task forces happen to meet, you flip over to the next war naval and play it out there, or you just play that. Right?
Oh, that's cool.
So it's very beginning stages. What we found so far is by about turn 2 or 3, one side is just decimated because they run out of anti-air missiles,
yes.
right? Or SAMs. They run out of SAMs. So once your magazines are depleted, you're sitting down. So it's all about who finds whom first and gets their strikes in. So. How to make that, so for 2 turns it's really fun and then you're done, which could be good because gameplay is really fast, but how to turn that into a fun game that lasts a little longer than 2 turns is the challenge right now.
Yes.
So maybe some operational stuff. That's what I'm trying to maybe figure out how to work it into actually the next war system itself. If not, then it'll just be its own standalone thing, and we'll see how it goes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Other than that, a new next war title, I'm not sure. I have been looking at the Aegean, like a Turkey goes rogue kind of thing, or something happens in Crete between that, because that's still an area fraught with tension. So other than that, I really haven't thought too deeply on what's next.
What's next in the next war?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Some personal touch for me. Which next war game is your personal favorite and why?
It's like asking me to choose between my children.
Sophia's choice.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I had to choose one, it's always the most recent. No, I'm just kidding. I actually have a soft spot for Next War Korea because it was the first, and in my opinion, it offers the most opportunity for really leveraging the system. Although now they say that Poland does too. But anyway, Korea is so big with so many units. It's just, we were playing it maybe a month ago, and it just reminded me of how grand scale it is, and I just like that, right? Because there's so many different things going on, and the fight on the East Coast is different from the fight on the West Coast, and you have to approach them totally differently, which I find fascinating.
Nice. And one bonus question: if Next War were a movie, who would you direct it?
That's a good one. I'm trying to remember his name. He did the Terminal List. So Jack Carr was a former SEAL. He wrote the book, The Terminal List, and he's written several books since then. They turned The Terminal List into an Amazon Prime TV series, and the guy that filmed it, I just liked his style. He uses color really well. Antoine DuPont, maybe? No, that's not right. That's the rugby player. Never mind. I can't remember his name. But
no Mel Gibson or.
No, I mean, they'd be fine, but no. This guy, he uses color and timing and pacing really well.
Yeah, so Mel Gibson movie Patriot. Patriot is really nice movie, but not historically accurate.
Right. That's most of the historical movies.
Yes.
But yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, thank you for your interview. It's done from my side. And I hope you enjoy the Consim Con.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.